Okay, I think we're live. I want to start off and say welcome. My name is Marie Presti, and I am honored to be this year's Residential Real Estate Council New England Region's president. And this is our first official meeting of the year. Wow, yeah. Um, I am going to be sharing my screen, but what I'd like to do first is just introduce some other folks from the leadership team because we have a few with us today. Why don't we just go around? You guys can introduce yourself. I see Christine McClellan
Hi, Christine McClellan. I'm Finance Chair for New England Region this year.
and Michelle.
Yep, Michelle Hagstrom, President-elect.
Great. And Christina Silver.
Christina Silva. I am New Hampshire Networking Director as well as Mass Network Director.
And Caitlin.
Good morning, Caitlin Costello. I am the Network Director for Massachusetts as well.
Great. And I also see past CRS RRC New England President Cheryl DiGirolamo on the call as well. Yay, welcome, Cheryl.
Afternoon. Welcome, Kevin.
And I see past MAR President Paul Yorkis on the call as well. So
hi, everybody. Proud to be a CRS member.
Yes, yes. And we have, of course, our esteemed guest today, Kevin Sears, is on the call with us today. Thank you, Kevin, so much for joining us. We'll get you going in just a minute. I am going to share my screen. Let's see here. Go back up to the top. I think I have to go into slideshow mode. I thought I was in it, but let's just pull up the slideshow. Just let me know, Christine, if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yep, there you are.
Okay, great. All right, there I am. So a couple of housekeeping things ahead of time. I just wanted to make sure everybody is aware of our celebration conference that is coming up. How many on the call are actually going to be going? Raise your hand. Yay, I see a few hands raised. Great. So it's going to be in Las Vegas this year, February 29th through March 2nd. Registration is $6.99, and you've got 2 receptions, a bunch of meals, but the key is all these education sessions and networking, which, you know, there's always a really great turnout for celebrations. So I hope to see you there. There'll be 2 pre-conference sessions, so you can go ahead of time if you want to and get some extra training. And if you're looking to get your designation, this is a celebration actually gives you credits just for attending because they know that you're going to see all these education sessions. So hope to see some of the new potential CRS designees there as well. Bring a lot of business cards with you. Also wanted to just say that we are nationally 25,000 members strong and counting. And we always get a lot of designees every year. Last year we had 600, which was the highest since the pandemic. And we've already got quite a lot of new members who have joined the New England region as well. I was hoping maybe a couple of them will have joined today, but you might be listening to this recording afterwards. So if so, I want to say welcome and feel free to reach out to any of the leadership team members as you get started on your CRS journey. It seems like my mouse is very sensitive today. As you know, we have all of this wonderful education, and if you're a CRS designee, you get access to all of this 24 world-class faculty members, and they teach over 150 classes a year. Over 3,200 realtors across the country have taken certificate and certification classes, and of course, our CRS is the key designation, and they have a new certification that's going to be launched this year called Artificial Intelligence Technology, and we've got lots during CRS week, which is in September. We will have a lot of watch events coming from various states, and hopefully our region will be one of them. We're planning it now as we speak. I also wanted to thank our strategic partners. This is the first year that we actually, instead of getting sponsors for each event, we decided to do strategic partnerships for the entire year. So, and we have a few more coming in, but these are the ones that have already committed and paid for. So I want to thank for the silver level, Best Chimney, for the gold levels, Statera Law, Coast to Coast Closings, Ameriprise Financial, Bay Equity Home Loans, Endless Energy, Bureau Cleaner Brookline, MLS PIN, and the Greater Boston Association of Realtors. And at the silver level, it says silver, but it's really platinum. We've got Cutco and Cross Country Mortgage. So thank you all for your strategic partners, and you'll be seeing them throughout the year because we'll be having opportunities for them to speak and be there and meet all of the members. So hopefully you'll be very nice neighbors to them as you see them throughout the year. I wanted to recap here our New England calendar. We have so much going on and we're very excited about it. Of course, today is our first monthly Zoom Meet the Masters. We're going to be doing that every single month on the second Monday of the month. So put that in your calendar. Hopefully from 12 to 12:30. We try to keep it short, get some education in quickly. You could be on the road. It's perfectly fine. But February 22nd, we have our first networking and kickoff event. And Caitlin, I don't know if I want to put you on the spot, but it would be great if you could just spend 30 seconds and talk about it.
Yes, absolutely. So our first event will be on the 22nd. We'll be holding this at the Painted Borough in Waltham, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Excited to welcome our sponsors, our strategic sponsors, and kind of kick off the year with an initial event and welcoming some CRS members who are also out of the state who are attending the broker event that day. So it'll be a good time just to kind of catch up and connect.
And the most important thing about that is, guess what? It is free for members. Woohoo! So you don't have to pay a thing. We want you to just come. You do have to register. We'll be sending that link out hopefully later today on our Facebook page. So look out for that and register, and please come. Then you'll see we have some other classes set up in March 28th. 7 things successful agents do. That's going to be at the Greater Boston Realtors Training Center. March 29th, we're going to be in Rhode Island, creating listing abundance. Kim Knapp will be teaching both of those classes, which is great. And then we have a Connecticut class in May called Systems Will Set You Free, which is an awesome, awesome class. And May 17th, it's going to be 0 to 60 home sales a year, and that's going to be up in Salem, New Hampshire. So we'll talk more about those as the time comes along, but and you can see the rest of our calendar there. You can take a picture of it or look at the recap and put those in your calendars as we go forward. We'll be giving you exact dates as we continue to plan, but the leadership team is fast and furious setting up these classes and all of these wonderful events for you. Okay, now we're here. Now we're here to introduce our Man of the Year, which is Kevin Sears. Kevin is our, first of all, Kevin is, as of January, I don't remember the exact date, he is our National Association of Realtors president. Woohoo! And he is our very own Massachusetts member, and he's from Springfield. He has done so much throughout the years. He's been totally my mentor. I've looked up to him ever since I was a realtor for many, many years. And he has served at the NAR level doing, I remember in particular, a few years back in 2019, he was the president's liaison, NAR vice president of government affairs, which he did an awesome job in 2017. He's been an RPAC major investor for a long time, Golden R, President's Circle, and he's really focused on what are issues and policies that need to be created for us. He's been a long-term congressman, federal political coordinator for Richie Neal, which we just had an event for a couple months, probably about a month or 2 ago. And he's done all kinds of things at the local and state level, past president of his local, past president of the state. And he's from Springfield, as we mentioned, but the one thing I learned is looking at his bio is that he went and got his undergrad at Western New England University, which is one of the places my son is looking at for college. So Kevin, we'll have to chat about that later.
Yeah, I actually got my MBA there. Undergrad.
Your MBA there. Great.
Yeah, Providence College for my undergrad.
Providence College under in Western New England grad, which is awesome. So he's a local guy, and we love him dearly. And we've asked him to come talk to us a lot about what's going on at NAR, a little bit about his his perspective on the NAR lawsuits. And we want to kind of probably ask him a few questions afterwards. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Kevin, to tell us what you want to tell us.
Thanks, Maria. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you all today. As I said to the group before we started, I'll be heading to the airport this afternoon, flying out to California to be with the California Realtors. Really, just the past month, I became president on January 8th. past month, just concentrated on doing everything I can to be with the members, to get out, to be seen, to hear what they have to say. And I've started doing an on-the-road video type series, and I've got a few of those videos up on nar.realtor, so you can check to see what's been happening. But you know, the National Association of Realtors, what I need to instill in all of you that are watching and listening, we're still continuing to go about the work of the association. There has been some leadership turnover. Yes, I am currently the president. Yes, a year earlier than I was expecting. But you know, we have a dedicated professional staff who, despite the distractions we've had over the last 6 months, have continued to do the work of the association and for the association. So just know that. Last week I was in Washington, D.C. We had a public policy forum, had some planning meetings for the year, and was able to spend a little time with our Chief Advocacy Officer, Shannon McGann, on the Hill. And, you know, so when it comes to the work of the association, let me just instill some confidence in you that we are continuing to do what we need to do. And I've asked the staff just to remember let's get back to basics and fundamentals. And our core mission is to make our members more successful. And so I'm just going to be very simple along those lines, and you know, work with the staff so that we can do everything in our power to make our members more successful. In Washington, D.C., we'll be doing lobbying. Well, just like throughout all of New England, there's advocacy that needs to be done, whether we're in Boston, Providence, Hartford. I can go through all of the state capitals in New England, but I don't need to. So, but it's making sure that we give the members the resources that they need to be successful. So the lawsuits, you asked me about the lawsuits, Marie. So we are we were found liable, as everybody knows, on Halloween. Unfortunately, a very large verdict, a judgment was found against us. So we're liable $1.8 billion, just shy of that. Since it's antitrust, it's tripled to $5.4 billion. That is an insane amount of money, an amount of money that none of the defendants have separately or together. We've had a few of the defendants settle, and we are going through our post-trial motions in the court, and we expect that those will conclude on or around March 18th. So the legal team is taking every opportunity through the legal process to try and get the verdict overturned, but we won't know more until the middle of March. And then, Marie, what was the other? I know you said there's one other thing you wanted me to touch on. I'm happy to go right into questions, or if you remember what the other thing was, I can talk about it.
Well, I'll ask a couple questions if you don't mind. Is that okay if I start?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you see our own local Anthony Lamarchia do a debate with one of the prosecuting attorneys for the NAR lawsuits? I don't know if you heard about that or if you saw that at all.
With the plaintiff's attorney Ketchmark. I
Yes.
did hear about that. I did watch some of it. Yep.
And do you have any opinions on that? I mean,
Well, first of all, I just need everyone to know that that was not an NAR sanctioned event. NAR had nothing to do with it. It was Attorney Ketchmark reached out to Anthony. I think Anthony said the day after Thanksgiving or something like that, or and they got talking, and they decided that they were going to have the conversation, the debate. You know, I love Anthony. He's a great guy. I don't think the conversation they had did anything for us. I don't know if it did anything to hurt us, but you know, they were two gentlemen who decided that they wanted to have a live conversation on the internet, and that's what they did.
Okay. And so from your perspective, is that something you think NAR officially should do in the future, or are you waiting just to do it in the courts, to have our day in the courts?
We're having our day in the court. You know, that's where, you know, I was at Anthony's event in Boston a week or two ago. And, you know, one of the things I said was, being a sports guy, I looked at the scoreboard. Catchmark won. His day in court, he won. And we were found liable. And while what we do, I disagree with the outcome. You know, we are helping people to buy and sell, you know, the largest asset of their lives. And to be vilified in the media the way we have, when what we do in our local markets is we build communities. It's, you know, but at the end of the day, he won in court. We're going through our post-trial motions, and we're seeing if we can't get some relief through the court system. But that's where we'll have our conversations with Attorney Catchmark. We're not going to do anything on a live event like that.
And as individual members, you know, because our folks are not only realtors, of course, but we're CRS designees, we're the gold standard. Do you recommend that we do anything right now? Should we be doing any kind of PR ourselves to our clients to talk about our value add, or is there something else that you would recommend that we take action on right now, or should we just kind of
any opportunity you have to have a conversation with your customers or clients, do it. You know, what we need to be able to do on a continuing basis is talk about the value that we add to the transaction. On the buy side, when you're working with a buyer, you know, there's approximately 180 steps in a typical buy side transaction. It's not just look, click, view, and sign. It's not that simple. We all know that. So talk about what it is that we bring to the transaction, how we can add value. Explain to them how you get paid. I mean, it's shocking to say that, but there's some people that don't have that conversation. We need to do better, and we need to have those conversations with the consumer and explain whether, if you're the listing broker, how you get paid there. If you're working as a buyer broker, how you get paid there. You know, one of the things that the National Association has promoted over the last few years leading up to the lawsuit was the use of buyer broker or buyer agent buyer representation contracts. And so I would agree with that. You know, I had a closing earlier in the year in January. It was a past client called me, needed to buy a property. I sat down with him and I had him sign a buyer rep contract. It was the first time I had done that. So apparently you can teach old dogs new tricks. But it's so important to explain to the consumer how you're going to get paid, how much you expect to get paid, and how that payment will be made. If there's an offer of compensation through the MLS, okay. And, you know, just explain it, have that conversation, because the more educated the consumer is, the better off we all will be.
It's funny because when I learned in this business how to work with buyers, I took a class. I can't remember which class. It might have been a CRS class. And I learned I should sign up a buyer rep agreement. So I've been doing that for 24 years. I thought everybody did it. And I think there's probably a few other members out there that have been doing it that way, but not everybody, right? So many of us have been doing it and explaining up front and working with buyers. And my opinion is that it's harder to work with a buyer than it is with a seller in general. I mean, it takes longer in many cases, especially we've been in a seller's market for so long that it's taken us, you know, it will take a buyer to find the right property. In some cases, you're making 4, 6, 10 offers before you land one, and you're spending time advising them on each and every house and property. So I find the buyer side more complicated, more problem solving, and more challenging in many scenarios than listing a property. So to me, it finds it mind-boggling that there's a question about our value in that scenario.
So you just touched on a few things. So there are 18 states that currently have buyer rep contracts as the law, or they have to do it, right? Commercial practitioners have been using them forever. So it can be done. And there's one other thing that you said. oh well, I can't remember.
The
But
number of
yeah,
offers that you have to put in a seller's market, maybe, you know,
yeah.
that I'm sure many of our other members here on this call or those who are going to listen afterwards would attest to the fact that in a seller's market, you don't always get the first offer accepted, and you're not just filling out paperwork and sending it off. You're consulting, you're advising, you're looking at comparables, and in many cases, you're doing multiple times over and over and over again in a seller's market because it doesn't always work the first time if you're up against, you know, 6 offers in. And I'm already realizing for January that it's competitive again because our inventory is so low. So being strategic is super important, you know, and on the buyer side and having somebody to guide you through that process. So many of my buyers, I don't know if others want to chime in, but so many of my buyers in the past said, Marie, I could have never have done that without you. Has anyone else had that experience with their buyers? Yep, see, so we're getting a lot of nods there to say they could have never have purchased a property without the help of someone guiding them through that process and being strategic with them. So we're kind of a little bit, I think all of us are a little mind blowing that there would be even a question that it's not needed and that, you know, we shouldn't get paid, you know, a commission or the same amount as a listing agent. So, but we know you're doing everything in your power to protect us and to go forward. So obviously we know that if you need us for any reason, right? Everyone else is going to say yes, that you have us here to help you to make those convictions and those stories to tell. So we
No,
hope that
thank you. No, I appreciate that. Just keep doing what you're doing, representing your clients, helping them, guide them through the most likely the most expensive purchase they'll ever make. You know, just keep doing the job and be proud of the fact that we're helping people achieve the American dream. Because, you know, if you look at the statistics, kids that grow up in a home that is owned by their parent or parents, and I say parent because it could be a single parent home, they do better in school. They're healthier. And you know, what we're doing is we're building communities, and just be proud of that. Tell your story. Help your customers and clients tell their story. Because, you know, one of the other things that I said at Anthony's Crush It in Real Estate event in Boston a week or two ago was, while we might be getting a little bad press at the national media, the local media is so much more important because the local media knows what we are doing and how we are helping to build communities. And so I just can't emphasize that enough.
that's a good point. Does any of our other members on the call have a question? Cheryl?
Hi, Kevin. Thank you again so much. I just wanted to say thank you, NAR. I don't know if you can see this. With these pieces, this is what's going to help the members. So I know I made it myself, and you can customize it with Canva to your own logo or label, etc. as well. And now you have 150 more to add to that. So I think that's where we can work harder on the local level, is with all these great pieces that National puts out. So thank you very much, and keep it coming.
Thank you.
And
No,
Cheryl,
thanks for
where do
using
they
it.
get that? Where would one of our members get that?
I
You can get it at
competition.realtor.
competition.realtor.
Great. And also there's some videos too. I know there was a video floating around from our new CEO talking about our value add as well, right, Kevin? And
Yeah,
I thought that
Nakia
was
Wright
excellent.
is she's our interim CEO. She's doing a great job looking at the association and trying to streamline some things. And her video, yeah, she took the step to fight back a little bit, because unfortunately in the media, when there's a void, it gets filled. And it's not necessarily getting filled with our stories. It's other people's stories. So I really appreciated the way that she stepped up, and you know, she dispelled some of the false narratives that have been propagated by some of these folks.
Exactly. So if you haven't seen that video either, I got it forwarded on social media, but is that also on competition.realtor, that video?
It would definitely be at nar.realtor. I just don't know if it's on the landing site competition.realtor, but it's a very robust site.
Great. Does anyone else have any questions for Kevin?
I know that you were thrown into the role early. So how are you handling that? And how is your wife handling that, more importantly?
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. Molly was nervous, excited, nervous, proud, nervous. But the reality is that while I have gotten the title of president sooner than expected, this year was going to be a very busy and hectic year anyways as president, if I were to be president-elect. So it's just ramped up a little bit more. But I talked earlier about being a sports guy. I look at it this way: when you're out on the field and somebody goes down, it's next person up, next man up, and you have to get in there because there's a job to do. And so I feel very fortunate and blessed that I was in a position to be able to say, okay, there's a job to do, and I'm going to fulfill the duties of the office of president and do everything I can to help get that job done. Am I going to be able to accomplish everything? No. It's not possible, but I will advance our association initiatives as far as I can while I'm president. And when the time is up, I'll hand it off to Kevin Brown, who will be after me. And that's one of the beauties of the continuity of leadership, is that we do have people in place to be able to continue to carry on the business of the association. But thank you for asking about Molly.
You'll do this year and next year, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So you still do your regular year, and this is your year ahead of time. Is Tracy still going to be involved in any capacity?
That's up for Tracy to decide. She's completely stepped back to deal with her personal matters.
Gotcha. Did somebody else had a question? I think it was Paul. Yep.
Yes, thanks, Marie. Kevin, first of all, thanks for stepping up. I appreciate it a great deal, and I know many other people do as well. You've shared some things that I would like to emphasize. The fact that we do build communities, I think, is really critical. And my suggestion would be that we collectively at NAR do everything we can with some of the national media, as you have already done in one of the pieces that you wrote. Make sure that the public and the media know that we are very active in building communities. I think that is a strength that has been misunderstood by many of the journalists who've written pieces that have contained a lot of inaccurate information about how we are living, but they also don't even comment on the overwhelming amount of contributions we make in our local communities, in the state, and in the nation. So I would encourage you to do that. And my hope is that you're still having enough time to have some fun.
Well, thank you, Paul. I used to be a Rotarian, and I love their motto, and I wish we had it. It's service above self. When I think about realtors, who's going to be coaching the kids on the sideline? Who's going to be at the PTO meeting? Who's going to be helping with the habitat build? Realtors. They're all over the place. I mean, we volunteer so much. So absolutely, Paul, we just need to keep telling our story.
Great. Well, listen, Kevin, we know you have a doctor's appointment, so we appreciate you squeezing us in on this 30 minutes. We are so proud of you. We're behind you 100%. And if there's anything you ever need from us, please reach out to any of us, because we're here to help and serve the rest of the members at NAR. So
yeah, thank you, Marie. Thank you all. I appreciate the partnership that RRC has with the National Association of Realtors. Your membership is amongst the most successful members that we have, and the most generous contributors to RPAC. So keep that up.
Yes.
But no, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you.
Kevin, travel safe.
Okay.
Safe travels,
Take care.
Kevin.
Thank you.
Stream. stop recording.